Hello, welcome to my channel, Bow and Arrow Tarot. This is the February 15th to the 21st weekly outlook for the sign of Pisces. All right, Pisces, let's get right into your weekly reading. We're going to pull out your 3 Love Oracle cards from the Island Time Wellness deck. And then we're going to pull out your 3 Animal Spirits and your forecast for the week. All right, guys, so let's get right into it. We want to see what's going on for Pisces this coming week. All right, first oracle message is paradise. Very nice. We have karmic relationship, right? And we have love call. All right. So these are your three messages for the week. All right. So, yeah, you may or may not resonate with one of them, right? Or a number of them. Love call and paradise. Love call, of course, talks about waiting for that expression of love, waiting for somebody to let you know they care. You might be waiting for a phone call, or you might be waiting to hear that somebody's thinking about you. Karmic relationship. So karmic relationship is a fairly new term that is bandied around nowadays. A lot of people talk about it. A karmic. It basically is meant to mean a relationship with somebody where there's a lot of issues, right? A lot of turmoil, a lot of problems, a lot of codependency, and toxicity. Not really sure why it's called a karmic relationship, because karma is not black and white like that. It isn't always bad. So, but for whatever reason, this is the agreed upon term, so I guess we'll go with it. Paradise is, of course, happiness, right? Joy, expansion, playfulness, all of those things. Having a good week. So let's pull out your animal spirits, Pisces. Straight out, we have dragonfly. Beautiful. We have the golden egg, associated with the 4th chakra, which is the heart chakra. And we have the whale, which is water energy. Of course, the dragonfly is air energy. So we're going to move this up just a tad so I have room for my upcoming spreads. But for right now, let's get right into your animal spirits. The dragonfly is associated with the Lord of Light and Illusion, the Lord of the Mind. And just like light and just like illusions, the mind is fleeting, right? The thoughts that we have, they come and go. The interpretations that we come to, or the perceptions that we have, can be elusive, in the sense that they can be you know, only specific to what we believe them to be, right? You know, in the Kabbalah, we talk about the 5 senses being the barrier between ourselves and the true world, right? True reality, the spirit. Because, of course, everything, every information, everything we see, hear, all of that comes through our senses. And, of course, that is a form of adulteration, right? We're not getting the pure information coming in. We're getting the information coming in and then being translated through our senses. And through that understanding, we have to remember, the dragonfly reminds us that sometimes what we believe, we see, and hear is not at all representative of the truth. It is only ever representative of what we believe the truth to be. So sometimes we have to ground ourselves and take what we believe to be accurate with a pinch of salt, and understand that just like light, just like the wings of the dragonfly, the mind can sometimes take us places that are not necessarily accurate, or are not that don't really reflect what is going on around us, right? And so we've got to try to keep ourselves a bit grounded, and try to remember that we only perceive reality according to our own personal subjective viewpoint, right? Now, the golden egg is associated with the 4th chakra, which is the heart chakra, and it is associated with the need for warmth and understanding in order to open up that chakra. This is why we see the egg is golden. you know, the importance of having your heart chakra open, you know, it seems to be quite obvious, right? But it isn't easy to do. Opening up your heart is not easy. If you have resentment, if you have pain that's standing in the way, or you have unresolved issues standing in the way, then it can be quite difficult. But ultimately, regardless of whatever condition your heart is in, you know what I mean, whether it's in pain or gone through trauma, the road to opening up and healing is always through warmth, through understanding, through nurturing, through caring for somebody else. Even if you find it difficult to open up your heart, or to forgive yourself or to forgive others, sometimes just acts of kindness, right? You know, performing acts of kindness, performing, you know, doing things simply to help someone else without any hope of a thank you or anything else in return, simply to give. All of these things are acts of warmth. They're acts of nurturing. And these are the type of things that we will want to do in order to jumpstart that heart chakra, especially if we are dealing with pain ourselves. Now, the whale is associated with, of course, water. And the whale is a very strong animal spirit for deep emotions, right? Bringing deep emotions to the surface, exploring deep emotions, exploring trauma perhaps that has come about or that you've had to deal with and that has sort of been you know, stuffed far away, deep away in your psyche or in your heart. The whale has the strength to go there. Right, the whale has that fortitude to be able to dive deep and go into those deeper recesses of our heart, of our psyche, of our feelings, where things can get very complicated and very painful, for the effect, or for the purpose rather, of dealing with them, right? Facing them, you know, having the strength to not only face them, but, you know, integrate that experience into our wisdom so that it doesn't just serve as a painful experience, but it now serves as a source of understanding. And with the spirit of the whale, this is something that we can do. I would say sometimes if you're doing hardcore therapy, or counseling, or even if you're doing like, you know, regression therapy or things like that, where you're going deep into sort of emotional memories and trauma, you would want to have the spirit of the whale there as a strength, as a fortitude to help you get through that. All right, guys, I'm going to pull out some forecasts for your week. I'm going to pull out 3 forecasts to see what your week is going to be like. And of course, these forecasts are actually intended to be separate from each other. So for separate Pisces, they're intended really to be separate experiences, possible experiences for the coming week for you Pisces. And so, of course, you're not going to resonate with all of them. You may even only resonate with a portion of one, and that's fine. Please remember, if the reading doesn't apply to you, if it has no bearing on your life, then it's not for you. Just let it go. You know, it's just not a reading for you. All right, Pisces, let's get right into it. Straight out, we have the Knight of Wands, the King of Wands, and the Ten of Wands. All right, so some of you are coming into this week with a Knight of Wands energy, certainly with a drive and a passion to sort of see your vision come to life. Right? Knight of Wands is all about being highly enthusiastic and forward moving in terms of following a particular passion that you have. You know, he's very motivational, especially with his communication. You know, the Knight of Wands is the cheerleader. He's a great motivator. He's the one who really gets the fire started sometimes, especially when you're feeling uninspired. This is a week where you're really following your inspiration in your heart. You come into the week and you're met with a King of Wands, and it's almost as if you're met with somebody who can absolutely help you on your path. This King of Wands is going to be someone who's probably gone through similar things that you've gone through. They may even have a similar interest in the same area or the same field, or they may share your particular passion, but they have the wisdom experience of the king, right? So this is someone who knows how to manifest their vision, right? Who has, the King of Wands always has a vision or a goal for himself, right? It is always going to be individual to him, and it's always going to be something that he feels strongly and passionately about. But he is the king for a reason. This is generally somebody who has experience with manifesting their hopes and dreams. They have a certain amount of success, certain amount of wisdom and understanding. I'm going to say that this week you're going to come across this person. You guys are going to feel like you're very much cut from the same cloth in a lot of ways, except that the King of Wands, of course, individual has a bit more knowledge to impart to you. And you round off your week with a 10 of Wands. I think that by meeting this King of Wands and maybe getting their help or their assistance or simply meeting with them in somewhere and sharing conversation and ideas and understandings, it helps you to get closer to the end, to completion. 10 of Wands, of course, is being able to lay down your burdens, your responsibilities, the things that you've been sort of carrying that have in a lot of ways been holding you back. Oftentimes 10 of Wands, these wands at some point in our lives may have served as a crutch, or may have served as a way to sort of protect yourself from, the worst things. But now they've developed into a handicap, right? Now they are sort of impeding your progress, and they're not helping you. Now they've come to alienate you, and you know that it's time to lay it down. The burden that you're carrying with this, the baggage, the suffering that comes from carrying this, and the inability to really follow the path the way you want to is enough. Enough is enough, basically. You've had it. You're ready to lay it down. And I think this King of Wands is certainly going to be not so much the linchpin or anything or the key, but he's certainly going to be showing you a way to lay down those burdens, because I think you're going to be running into someone or dealing with someone in this King of Wands who's been there before. They've been where you're at before, and so this is certainly the right person. I'm going to say I wouldn't even be surprised if this King of Wands resonates with the whale spirit a little bit, because again, the whale is so strong and experienced in dealing with burdens and dealing with deeper emotions that are holding us back with regard to our psyche, that it makes perfect sense that this King of Wands would be resonating with the spirit of the whale and helping you perhaps face some of these deeper sides to yourself that have been holding you back, so that you can finally lay them down. Death, Temperance, King of Cups. Well, death comes in for you, Pisces. Death is, of course, the card for Scorpio. We have Sagittarius here also. But in any case, death is coming in. Ultimate change, right? True transformation is coming in for you in a particular area in your life. It feels strongly like this could very well be an area to do with your love life. There is some kind of transformation coming in the sense of a transformation that you can physically see. Although death is change in all levels, it's definitely a type of change that you can see, that you can witness, right? That you can that is in some ways materials. It could be your environment is changing. It could be that your job situation or your relationship situation is changing to such a degree that you can see it, right? In any case, there's a huge transformation coming in, and this week you're absolutely sort of resonating with this. When you come into the week, you're met with Temperance energy. And I think that Temperance is coming in for you this week because all of these changes with this Death card are going to be quite emotional, right? They're going to be quite sort of demanding. As death is always a difficult time, sometimes we really welcome it, right? But in either case, whether we welcome it or it's coming out of the blue or it's coming because it's just meant to come at that time, it is still difficult, because it is so sweeping and so dramatic oftentimes. So remaining tempered this week is very important. Could also be that somebody in your life is coming into you, or you're meeting up with somebody this week who's also offering you temperance. They may be exercising temperance with you and your changes and the changes that you're dealing with, right? In any case, there's a real sort of calm and understanding, a collectedness, a control this week that is coming in for you. By the end of the week, you round off with a King of Cups. And again, it's like you are put right back at the helm of your ship in terms of your relationship, right? could be very much that this is a family situation. You could be with a wife or a husband, and these changes coming in could be very volatile for the family, but you are the one who's saying, look, you're the one who's exercising temperance, and you're sort of saying, look, you know, this will all work out. Everything will be okay. Stay calm. We're going to get through this. You show real leadership skills, and for you to wound up as the King of Cups, it almost feels like you are the head of the household when it comes to to this union. You may be, doesn't matter if you're the man or the female, if you're the, if you're the wife or the husband, you're the one who is emotionally in charge. You're the one who is emotionally strong. And when death comes in and transformation comes into this family unit that you have, you're the one who's espousing temperance and calm and really presenting a real sort of, a feeling of being in charge, right? And making sure that everyone is going to be okay. And so in this way, you are serving as the kind of, the comfort, right? You're the one who's giving everyone comfort through your strength and through your sort of determination, through this transformative period. This transformation definitely is something that's going to affect all of you. It could be a financial one as well, But whatever the case is, you are keeping the family unit together through this difficult time. And by the end of the week, you are absolutely resonating as sort of like, the head of the family, right? But with a lot of respect, a lot of love, and a lot of understanding, because despite this very difficult time, you have kept the family together. Here's your final spread, Judgment, the World, and the King of Swords. So you've had 3 kings show up for you now this week, Pisces, and so that's a very strong indication of you really taking the lead in a lot of areas of your life and really being the voice of authority, whether it be in your family with the King of Cups or with the King of Swords. Now it is in terms of setting down the ground rules. But let's not go too far ahead of ourselves. Talk about Judgment. You're coming in this week with Judgment energy, which is a feeling of understanding and reconciliation. Judgment is a feeling of wanting to forgive, wanting to seek forgiveness for yourself and wanting to bestow forgiveness on those that you've perhaps before have had resentment towards, or have blamed for something, or have sort of had a falling out with, or whatever. Judgment generally comes, and I always say judgment is it's a misnomer for the card. It really should be called forgiveness. But judgment comes in a time when we have had enough experiences in our lives where we realize things just aren't black and white. And everyone has their own sort of like, outlook, and everyone has their own perspective on a particular situation. And when you have enough experience in your life, you begin to understand more and more of other people's points of views or perspectives, because you begin to have more and more experience being in the role that they were in, or being in the position that they were in. This is why paying attention to the things you go through in life and really trying to understand them is what gives us our experience and our wisdom, but also helps to increase our empathy. And so along with that comes sometimes a feeling of wanting to reconcile, or wanting to go back and correct maybe some of the mistakes of the past, right? Mend bridges, as it were. And this is the attitude that some of you are coming into the week with. You're met with the World energy. Now, the World is all about fate. This is a real fate card. It's the feeling of destiny sort of shining its light on you, fate having its eyes on you, because everything seems to work out towards the ultimate goal. It seems to be as though, when we're dealing with the energy of the World card from the tarot, it feels very much like there's multiple wheels in motion in our life, and they are all connected and just playing things out the way they should. It's a time in our lives where we would say that there's a lot more coincidences, right? Happy coincidences happening. There's a lot more serendipity going on. It always seems like, even walking down a certain street at a certain time of day, you may have chosen to do that for whatever reason, and then boom, you run into someone who helps you with something else, and it's this feeling of like, wow, if I hadn't run into them, I wouldn't have this solution to my problem. And it just feels like everything, you can see the elements being represented it there. It's like everything seems to work in combination with everything else, hand in hand, right? It seems to be like one big collaborative effort amongst the elements, right, to work in your favor. It feels very good, and oftentimes it makes you feel like you're exactly where you're supposed to be. It tends to be a feeling of reaffirming that you are also on the right path, right? And so all of this is coming in for you this week. You round your week off with a King of Swords. And it feels to me like in a particular area in your life, yes, you have the empathy riding high, the feeling of wanting to fix or reconcile something, the feeling of being exactly where you should be. And I think you take that and run with it, because in some areas in your life, I think you then say, well, you know what, I'm going to clean house. You know, I'm either going to clean house or set down the ground rules, or I'm getting to a particular truth. There's some endeavor here with the King of Swords where you are seeking I'm going to say either seeking to clarify a situation or to bring order back to a situation where there may have been chaos, right? Bringing some rules to perhaps a situation, because the King of Swords is all about the truth. Seeking out the truth, also setting rules in motion, or setting rules in place for communicating, right? This can oftentimes be someone in business who says, you know, who's like maybe an authority figure in a business or in a job, and they're the ones who are saying, okay, this is the way we're going to operate, and this is what we're going to tolerate, you know. He's the great rule maker. He's also the great disciplinarian, the King of Swords. And so sometimes when you're dealing with a situation that's off, where there has been some toxic energy, some lying perhaps, or some kind of negativity there, the King of Swords is the one who shows up to really cut through all of that and get to the heart of it and fix it, right? Drive out the deception and the lies, and absolutely requires nothing but extreme honesty. And so this feels very much like you're taking the control over fixing a particular situation in your life. This could be a problem at work that you may have had. It could even be a problem with family, a falling out with family or friends that you may have had. But all of this energy here is definitely giving you the feeling by the end of this week that you are trying to resolve this, and you're going to do it in a very sort of straightforward, determined manner, right? You're going to get to the bottom of this and fix what you can out of this situation. All right, guys, this is your reading for February 15th to the 21st. I hope you enjoyed it, Pisces. This is your weekly outlook. Please like, subscribe, and share. Comment below if you'd like. Let me know how you're feeling about this outlook, if it's resonating with you. If you want to check out your weekly love outlook, then of course you can go ahead to the link in the description. But for right now, Pisces, have a wonderful week, and I'll see you next week for your weekly outlook. Bye-bye now.